This is a snakeskin jacket, and for me, it's a symbol of my individuality and my belief in personal freedom. This is the Fandom Podcast Network, and this is Time Warp 1990 August Movies and Pop Culture. All right, guys, welcome to the show. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I'd like to welcome, of course, my co-founder of the Fandom Podcast Network, Mr. Kyle Wagner. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, I'm just hanging out with a certain brand of gum, listening to a certain set of music, figuring out how I can, change the world in my own little way.
Let's, of course, also welcome the queen of movie foo, my fellow co-host of Time Warp. Please welcome Lacey Pants. What's going on, Lacey?
Hello. Oh, I got my hair fluffing out on the side. Time for a haircut.
Well, guys, this of course is Time Warp here on the Fandom Podcast Network. And if you got the QR code action going on there, if you're watching the video, go ahead and click that there. It'll take us to our website. Appreciate your support there. These are my wonderful co-hosts for Time Warp here, Kyle and Lacey. And we are celebrating the year of 1990, both movies and, of course, television and other entertainment. We did want to give you guys a heads up of other cool stuff we've been doing recently with Time Warp. We did a Buffy retrospective. We also did the movies of 1984 last year, celebrating its 40th anniversary. And we've jumped into 1990, which is pretty much late 80s stuff. We've had those discussions. We'll have more of that. We've already done 7 months, so make sure you check us out here. And right now we are in August of this month as well. One thing I did notice, though, guys, is I can't see shit with these glasses while I'm doing this. I'll put on my regular glasses here, but I had to put on the snakeskin jacket for a movie, of course, we'll be discussing later. But I did want to mention real quick before we go any further, a couple things are cool right now. First of all, we know the trials and tribulations that Billy Idol had this year, okay, in 1990. He had that horrible car accident, but he also released an album, too. He released Charmed Life, which is what I'm holding right here. And, of course, one of the big hits off that one is Cradle of Love, where he shows up in the video, but he's still injured and he can't dance around too much, so he has a girl do it instead. I don't know when or if I was going to try to see Billy Idol that year, because I'd never seen him before. And have you guys ever seen Billy Idol at all live?
Nope.
Lacey?
I feel like I have, but I couldn't tell you when.
Okay. Well, back before computers and stuff, it was hard to kind of keep track of certain artists. And I know he was making the rounds and doing the tours eventually. And, eventually he was also supposed to be the T-1000 in Terminator 2. And of course that didn't work out because of his injury, and he was going to be doing some other stuff. But I just want to let you guys know, next month is my birthday month. I treated myself. I'm going to finally see Billy Idol live at the Forum, the Kia Forum in LA. And I got floor seats. And I'm really, really excited. And of course, Steve Stevens, who his guitar player is playing with him. And who I also have never seen is opening up for him, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Really excited.
Nice.
We just need to keep them off motorcycles for the next month.
This is true. Please, please, Billy. Please. Okay. So there's one other thing that's very 90s that I came across here, guys. And we discussed the release of this specific beverage, and I found it yesterday when we were celebrating my brother's birthday. We went down to see him in Santa Paula, California, and I saw him chilled for like $2.50 each. I have Slice. Check this bad boy out right here.
Nice.
And they had different flavors, but you know what? I feel like Slice, you have to have the orange. So
yeah,
I'm gonna.
Oh no! It's the apple. The apple is the Slice that is delicious.
I was always the orange guy. Sorry.
I love the apple.
It was either the orange that was popular or it was the lemon lime version that was very popular. So I'm going to go ahead and have a little beverage here. Yeah, still good. Still has it. So
wait, what they didn't tell you is that actually is from 1990.
Well, you could buy.
Possible.
What's that?
That's entirely possible.
Wait. You mixed that 1990 Slice with the old cold pizza he had during the Cobra CPT. Who knows what's going to happen in his stomach?
Well,
yes.
And then if you drop it into a hot tub, you'll go somewhere.
Yes, I did. I did slice pizza I did cut pizza with scissors during our Cobra Couch Potato Theater, which is out now. Make sure you check that out. Well, guys, let's go ahead and get into Time Warp here, 1990. We've gone through the stuff that we've talked about, but we're going to get into some what's happening in news, happening back in 1990. It's interesting. I saw somebody with a T-shirt today, guys, that had a reunion show of all these 90s bands, and then at the top it was called "When We Were Young" tour. I'm like, oh my god! Like Green Day was the headliner, and then all these other 90s bands. It was really, really funny, but it made me feel really, really. Dang. But we got some 1990 world news that you guys remember. August 2nd, Gulf War. Iraq invades Kuwait. I remember this very well, eventually leading to the Gulf War. We also had the first ban of smoking in bars in the U.S. and possibly the world. It passed in San Luis Obispo, California on August 12th. To give you an idea, I'm just north of LA, and just north of me in 2 hours is San Luis Obispo. So that happened just like literally in my back door. We also had Sue, the best preserved Tyrannosaurus Rex specimen ever found, is discovered near Faith, South Dakota, United States by Sue Hendrickson. And the last bit of noteworthy news we have here is August 23rd, East Germany and West Germany announced they will unite on October 3rd. So we're putting the Cold War to bed, Lacey, but we're opening up the Desert Storm. Your thoughts?
I went and saw Sue at the time, about 10, 12, 15 years ago, she was at the Museum of Natural History in Chicago.
That's so cool.
I do not know if she is still there, but it was really cool because they had the skull in like a encasement that's, it's big, right? But so you could see the skull, and then they had the rest of it with all the additional, so it was a full skeleton, cool. Even though it wasn't totally her.
She must be touring then, because that would be a great thing to see.
It was really, really cool. And the cool part was it had the different bones had different thing where you could look at the thing and see which parts they found and which were added to make the whole structure, skeletal structure. It was really, really interesting thing.
Kyle, was there anything in the news that really stood out to you?
Well, just for the fact that secretly in Germany, October 3rd is David Hasselhoff.
Yeah. David Hasselhoff, is that David Hasselhoff Day, or is it when they finally in October it is?
David Hasselhoff every day fixed all their problems.
Every day in Germany is David Hasselhoff Day. Let's be honest.
All right, let's talk some toys and tech. All right, I got 3 toys and tech here for you guys and product. The first that we have is the Nintendo Game Boy here, guys. The good old days when everyone was hooked on Dr. Mario and Tetris on the go with Game Boy. Technically, the 8-bit then sorcery phenomenon was released a year prior. However, it was still number 1 a lot of holiday lists that year, and sales were booming, making last-minute parents run around like a dizzy ex-governor of California looking for one.
the hours lost to Tetris on a Game Boy.
That's how I got addicted to Tetris and started having Tetris nightmares. And I got really pissed. I was with my girlfriend in the mid-90s, and I had a Tetris. I was kind of late to the party when getting one, and we were doing a garage sale, and I had it over to the side, and someone from the garage sale stole it, and I was really mad.
Ooh, I would be too.
Lacey, did you have a Game Boy?
My sister had a Game Boy. I was old school. I wanted the larger screen. I didn't want to be like this, but I did learn how to play Paperboy. I think it was the game that I played on the Game Boy, and I don't know if it was the original. I think it was probably a couple generations in. I was having Tetris nightmares just trying to make Tetris work. I remember that very well. I loved Tetris, but I wanted to play it on the big screen. I didn't want to, or not big screen. I mean, back then the big screen was 24 inches. But
now, Lacey, I can hook you in and you can play Tetris Effect virtual reality.
In 1999 through like 2005, I had a mini version that was not called Tetris, but it was a Tetris game. It was a keychain, and I played that all the time. So it's great. The next 2 products that we have here are ASICS shoes. ASICS Gel Light the Third is a running shoe released by ASICS as part of the Gel-Lyte series from 1990. The shoe is considered to be the company's most popular shoe, seeing most sales and collaborations out of its total products. The shoe has gone to become an important part of sneakerhead culture in both modern and retro fashion. Lacey, you held your finger up.
Yes, I still own my very first pair of Asics Tigers split sole wrestling shoes. They are high tops. They have the two separate soles so you can bend in the middle. They are the most comfortable shoe on the planet. I will never give these shoes away. I will never give them up. They are so worn that I can't wear them outside anymore, but they are amazing and they don't make them anymore and it makes me sad.
I'll give you $5 for them.
Absolutely not. You're fired.
I'll give you an orange kitten for them.
Hey, I already have custody of that kitten. You can fight me, bro.
Next we had a product I was actually very fond of. PB Max is a discontinued candy bar made in the United States by Mars. Launched in 1990, they were made of creamy peanut butter over a square-shaped whole grain cookie enrobed in milk chocolate with crunchy round cookie pieces. According to a former Mars executive, Alfred Poe, PB Max was discontinued due to the Mars family distaste for peanut butter despite 50 million in sales. Now, I found this on the internet. I don't know if it's true, but shame on you, Mars family.
Mars upset me greatly when they got rid of the Mars bar.
Mhm.
which is the best bar, like the Mars bar with the different kind of nougat and then the almonds. That was the best. You can I every time someone I know goes to England, I have them bring me back a half a dozen because they still make them there, but they don't make them in the US anymore. It makes me sad.
They were so good. They were so good.
But PB Max were delicious.
Yes, it was.
Let's get into some celebrity births. All right, this is the Make Us Feel Old segment here. Celebrities that were born in 1990. I'm going to name, not all of them, but name a few here of notable note. Jack O'Connell making a big name for himself recently. Of course, starred in Sinners, and of course, 28 years later. Chet Hanks, Adele Kane, Bill Skarsgård, Swedish actor. Sidney Lemon, Miranda Ray Mayo, Jennifer Lawrence, Oscar winner, Rachel Hurd Ward, Katie Finley, Laura Ashley Samuels, and Nicole Gale Anderson. Thank you for making me feel old, guys. That's great. Yeah.
Adelaide Kane is one of my favorites. She's awesome. She was
Australian actress for Neighbors and Power Rangers and Teen Wolf.
Yeah, I loved her in Rain, though. That was kind of where she got her kind of solo gig.
Okay.
Which is a WB show about the reign of the French monarchy and the troubles back in the day. Yeah.
Very cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right. Let's get into some 90s music news here. Okay, so the 90s music news here follows a certain theme after the first news story here. And we did touch on it when this originally was happening earlier in 1990 here. August 5th, Madonna ends her controversial Blonde Ambition tour in Nice, France. The last date was aired live and broadcast on HBO in the United States and later released as a Laserdisc only physical media. Go Laserdisc. I was actually looking that up on eBay. They're not that expensive though. You could find this for like 25 to 50 bucks. It's still out there. So yeah, I had to look. But things get a little weird, a little depressing for the music news here, guys. I'm just going to go over these and then we'll kind of touch on them. First one is August 3rd. Curtis Mayfield is paralyzed from the neck down in an accident at an outdoor concert in Flatbush, Brooklyn, after stage lighting equipment collapsed on top of him. And then soon after that, we had August 19th, Leonard Bernstein conducts his final performance at Tanglewood. He suffers a coughing fit in the middle of a one piece, which almost brings the concert to a premature end. Then, this was big news too. August 24th, a judge rules that heavy metal band Judas Priest is not responsible for the actions of two Nevada youths who shot themselves, one fatally, after listening to the band's music in December of 1985. So that took 5 years, that whole deal there. And also, Irish singer Sinead O'Connor sparks controversy when she refuses to play a concert at the Garden State Arts Center in New Jersey unless the venue refrains from its tradition of playing a recording of the America's national anthem before the performance. O'Connor is heavily criticized, and her music is dropped from a number of radio stations as a result. And the last piece of news is the one that hit me really hard because I remember when this happened. August 27th, guitarist Stevie Ray Vaughan is killed in a helicopter crash following a concert at the Alpine Valley Music Theater in East Troy, Wisconsin. He was only 35 years old. Kyle, which one of these news things, or if maybe a couple, really, ring with you?
The two that come to mind are actually Stevie Ray Vaughan, because he had played a concert in my hometown of all places a month before he died.
Up in Alaska?
Yeah, up in Alaska, up in Fairbanks.
Wow.
And then I don't think anybody sabotaged her own career more than Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah. I get having political beliefs. I get it. But there's a certain place, I think, in most places to do it. But during your own performances and ripping up a thing of the Pope in front of, a live studio audience and Saturday Night Live, I mean, I get it. You feel strong about these things, but not everyone's going to feel that way.
I think that she was a woman in a world where it was mainly, it was very rare for a woman to get ahead, and she had very strong beliefs. And the Pope thing was based around pedophilia. So I think that was she knew what she was doing when she did it, and she didn't care because she felt like her beliefs were stronger than maintaining her career. And I think that that's something to be looked on in the right light. I think that that's something that she did deliberately, and I think that was a calculated decision, and I think she knew what she was doing when she did it, and I applaud her for it.
I get that, but I feel like, if she feels strongly about this and does not care about her musical career,
How else is she going to get? I mean, think about the opportunity at the time for a woman.
I get that.
On a show that has that many people that watch it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But was she expecting that everything was going to be the same with her music, and was she going to stop selling her stuff? So I don't know. I mean, if that was her plan, then I applaud her for it. But if she wanted to still, I mean, people just didn't want to hear from her, for a while. They didn't want to touch her music. They didn't want to do this. And which makes me sad because she's such a talented musician and a wonderful vocalist. But I feel like she sabotaged her career if that's what she was trying not to do. Either way,
Quiet women rarely make history.
I do. I understand that, but I think there was a better venue to do that. I think she could have probably found some peers and maybe made an appearance somewhere and gotten some people to help her and to make the message larger and bigger. But people learn from this. This is kind of stuff that, I mean, there's a lot of artists that go to other countries that don't believe in what their countries are doing, but they stay on point. They entertain the people that are there for the show, and they find other ways to, showcase their displeasure for stuff, All right. Next, we have the Billboard Top 100 hit, guys. This will be fun. So we pick a few, usually about 8 or 9 throughout the top 100, and discuss what was big at the time. And this select that we have here is number 45 through 38. At number 45, we have Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice, All Right by Janet Jackson, Here and Now by Luther Vandross, Back to Life, However You Do Want Me by Soul to Soul, Everything by Jody Watley, Rome by the B-52s, I'll Be Your Everything by Tommy Page, and Rhythm Nation by Janet Jackson. She's got 2 hits in this thing here. And I apologize, I just did a little bit of a slice burp, so forgive me. Kyle, which one of these is your one that stands out to you?
There's actually a couple. Rome by the B-52s. That was everywhere. And that song still gets used in a lot of films that take place during that time now. And Janet Jackson was just owning the world at this point. Rhythm Nation was so huge.
That tour too she went on was huge. Yeah. Lacey, any of these jump out at you?
Okay, I know. I was trying to figure out where I knew Rhythm Nation from, and it's because of oh gosh,
TV show, something,
no,
movie?
the kid from Third Rock from the Sun,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt did the
Oh, the lip sync battle.
lip sync
Yeah.
battle.
Yeah. Oh my God, he was so good
Such a
in that.
good lip sync battle. Like that's my
Yeah.
second behind Tom Holland and his umbrella.
Rihanna.
Hands
Yeah.
down. Hands
and
down. He
the
nailed that performance. Yeah.
Yeah, the only other one that I know on this is Ice Ice Baby. I don't think I know
Gotcha.
any of the other ones.
I think
Yeah.
Ice Ice Baby is probably the most well-known one here.
Yeah.
I really like the club song here. Back to life.
Yep.
Back to, yeah, that's a good one.
Which
I
one
like
is that?
one too.
Which one is that?
That's number 42 by Soul to Soul.
Oh, back to okay.
Yeah, it was a big club hit, and yeah, it's very catchy. And Rome is a good B-52 song. I think that's a good one there.
Right on.
Yeah, a lot of fun there. So.
But if you get a chance, definitely look up Joseph Gordon-Levitt lip sync battle Rhythm Nation. Absolutely, like perfect.
Yeah,
so good, so good.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's do some television, guys. All right, Kyle, I'm going to need your help on this next one here because you probably know more about the impact of it than I do. So we do have a couple of 1990 TV notable events. And August 10th, Kyle, we have the American Wrestling Association holds its final television taping. And we have a picture, of course, up here at the top with the late Hulk Hogan with, I don't remember that announcer's name, Kyle.
Mean Gene Okerlund.
Say his name?
Mean Gene Okerlund.
And then who is the one below that's holding up the belt?
That is a gentleman by the name of Vern Gagne. He was a very popular wrestler, mostly in the 60s and early 70s. He was actually the founder of the AWA.
Gotcha.
So,
what are your memories of this?
Not a lot. This closed up pretty early in the 90s, and it was by then WWF at the time was just ruling everything. AWA would air on ESPN a lot, and a lot of it was old classic reruns. AWA was a thing that existed before the WWF took over because wrestling used to be all about territories, and everybody had their own territory. The AWA was like Minnesota, Michigan, that kind of thing. Once Vince McMahon did WrestleMania, he stole Hulk Hogan from the AWA, basically.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of wrestlers went through the AWA, ended up in the WWF.
Can I ask you to put a timeline on that? Did that happen before Rocky III?
Okay, so here's the funny story. I'll make it real quick. Hulk Hogan was wrestling for WWF before he did Rocky III. WWF did not want him to do Rocky III, so he quit the WWF.
Okay, because that's where I first remember him from. So yeah,
he did Rocky III, then he went back to the AWA after Rocky III blew him up. WWF brought him back with a huge contract and made him the champ, and the rest is history.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, the next bit of news here, we're going to combine the news and, of course, the premiere of this particular show. So, August 23rd, the pilot episode of Ferris Bueller, an adaptation of the 86 film Ferris Bueller's Day Off, is broadcast on NBC. In said pilot, Ferris, played by Charlie Schlatter, refers to the film and expresses his displeasure at Matthew Broderick for portraying him, even going as far as destroying a life-size cardboard cutout of Broderick with a chainsaw. This show would ultimately be canceled after its first season and only 13 episodes due to its poor reception. It would also suffer from comparisons to another series, Fox's Parker Lewis Can't Lose, which proves to be more successful when it comes to ratings, lasting for 3 seasons. We'll discuss Parker Lewis next month because it actually premieres in September. But August 23rd is when it came out. And of course, it also well known because playing the sister is Jennifer Aniston. We also have Amy Dolence and Brandon Douglas co-starring here. Kyle, your thoughts on this Ferris Bueller's TV series?
They killed it within the first 5 minutes because the minute he pulled up that Matthew Broderick stand-up and destroyed it and ripped the original film, they just put the death sentence on that show. Could have been something. People loved Ferris Bueller. They could have done something with it, and they destroyed it right out of the gate.
Yeah, if they accepted it or saying how good a job he did, but here's the real story or something, I don't know, something. Yeah. Lacey, do you remember this?
I do. And I love Charlie Schlatter. Actually, I've met him. He's really super sweet guy.
I do too. I like him in stuff I've seen him in. Yeah.
Yeah. He did 18 Again, which is just delightful. If you get a chance to see 18 Again with George Burns, where they body swap.
Oh, okay,
And,
gotcha.
And he was the voice of the honeybee for Cheerios. So when I met him,
That's Charlie.
I had him. He does a. He's got a ton. He's got
no
like
idea.
hundreds of voice acting credits. He's amazing. But I thought he was gonna have a way bigger, I don't want to say career because he's done very well for himself, but I thought he was going to be much more visible presence as opposed to doing mostly voiceovers, which is what he does now. But he's got a huge career in voice acting.
Yeah, I remember watching this when it first came out. I forgot about the whole opening scene and stuff, but it just didn't click for me. It didn't feel like the magic that the movie had, basically. And I think I'd just gotten it on VHS as well and rented it or something. So yeah, Kyle.
Just so we have a time, Charlie actually, the G.I. Joe Renegades cartoon show, he did several Cobra main character voices for.
Good for him. So I didn't know he had a voice career. That's pretty cool.
He's pretty extensive. I'm looking at it now. He did Captain Planet. He's done a lot of video games, a lot of popular cartoons. Ben 10 pops up here. So yeah, he's actually had a very, very successful voice acting career.
And when he was at Dragon Con, there were 3 or 4 different voice actors that were kind of pushed off into one corner, and it was specifically because they were all willing to do your outgoing voicemail message in any of their options. Cool. So you could have like the honeybee from, or you could have like Yakko Warner, Rob Paulson was there and all this kind of stuff.
That's cool.
But they were off in a corner to do your outgoing voicemails if you want it on your phone.
That is a cool thing to do. That's
right?
Very cool, especially in this day and age of Cameo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, well, we got some other notable debuts in August, and I'll go ahead and go through these, and you guys can pick and choose what you want to talk about. Here in 1990 of August. This one was new to me, guys. This was a show on ABC called New Attitude, premiered on August 8th, 1990. It's an American sitcom inspired by Shelley Garrett's stage play Beauty Shop. It aired on ABC as part of a TGIF lineup starring Cheryl Lee Ralph, Phyllis Yvonne, Stickley, Karen Bankett, but more notably, Morris Day of the M&F Time co-starred on this one.
Greatest band of all time.
Yeah, no idea about that. Next, we also have on August 20th, we also had Parenthood on NBC, the television version. Stars Ed Begley Jr., Jane Atkinson, Max Elliott Slade. Also, too, we had Working It Out, a short-lived sitcom here, starring Jane Curtin, Stephen Collins, and Kendra Joy Casper. And this I had no idea about. This flew by me. August 25th, Jim Henson's Mother Goose stories on the Disney Channel. Mother Goose tells her 3 mischievous goslings the tales behind well-known nursery rhymes. And because we were in the boy band industry and years, guys, here, we had this one here that debuted on August 27th, The Guys Next Door on NBC, in the spirit of kid video and supposedly an alternative to New Kids on the Block. The Guys Next Door was about 5 guys who lived in a huge house. The show consisted of comedy skits and music videos and starred the guys themselves. Christopher Wolf, Eddie Garcia, and Damon Sharp, to name a few of them. And apparently, if you look at the ad here, it says Guys Next Door. It's music, it's comedies, it's it's funniest, plus take a sneak peek at NBC's new Saturday morning lineup. But also, too, I guess they released an album. I had no idea.
Wow.
So of these debuts, guys, what stands out to you, Kyle?
Okay, The Guys Next Door, I just have to say this because the fact that it's in the spirit of kid video, and for those of you who may not remember, Kid Video was a Saturday morning cartoon about a band that gets kidnapped into another dimension because the ruler of that dimension liked their music.
I think I remember.
Actually do live action videos of the band at the end of episodes with like the song, each song from the band every week. So that just kind of blows my mind because that show only lasted, I think, 1-2 seasons tops. And to say it's from the spirit of kid video, that's a little crazy. And I'm just gonna say this: that Working It Out, yeah, never gonna see the light of day again. Nope.
Are you saying the one with the Morris Day? Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
I'm talking about the one with Stephen Collins.
Yeah.
This one. Yeah.
Bad news.
Yeah. I got you. I know that. Yeah. Lacey, any of these jump out at you?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, I'm really shocked that the Morris Day one didn't get. I had no idea. I have had the absolute pleasure and privilege of sharing a stage with Morris Day at the time.
Can you please say it right, Lacey?
No,
No, just kidding.
nice. You didn't put a language warning on the beginning of this.
This is true. This is true.
But yeah, no, he did the show at Underground about, I don't know, 2 or 3, 4 or 5 years after this, and I was lucky enough to be on stage when they were pulling the hammer and doing all the whatever. But he was very, very nice guy.
Wait,
Yeah.
the most important thing was, were you on stage? Did they perform Jungle Love?
They did, and I also have I have a picture of my feet, like because I was wearing my cowboy boots because fancy, whatever. But I have a picture of my cowboy boots in his mirror on the stage, like because they set it down right behind me, and I was like,
very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never heard of that show, but yeah. I thought the Mother Goose thing with Jim Henson thing was kind of
the
cool.
Mother Goose thing, I definitely remember that because in 1990 I was like 16 years old. I was babysitting a lot. This was something that was always on in the background.
They must have been very clever stories about the more famous nursery rhymes. They must have had a lot of fun with that, especially with the puppetry and stuff like that. So yeah,
it wasn't great. I mean, okay, it was great if you were a child, but it wasn't great for a 16-year-old because.
Lacey, I need you to pull up a DVD because we're going to be talking about the TV shows that are ending in 1990. And the first one that is ending in 1990 is Beauty and the Beast, which started in 1987. The adventures of a romance of a sensitive and cultured lion man and a crusading assistant district attorney in Manhattan, New York City. And you're holding up, Lacey, it looks like the DVD. Is it the complete set?
Yes.
Wow, that's impressive. That's pretty cool.
This is old school, like with the little the little like individual.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That set is on my radar. Do you know why, guys?
Why is that?
I've never seen the show.
Oh, really? Okay. Right on.
Kyle, have you seen Beauty and the Beast?
Oh yeah, I mean that show was a legitimate hit for CBS. I mean, obviously Ron Perlman, Linda Hamilton. I'm actually surprised it didn't take off more than it did. Really, it lasted longer, but it got a very strong cult following. It got a lot of acclaim. It was a very well done show.
Three seasons or 4?
3.
Gotcha.
I think the biggest problem was that the Beast and the Beauty never broke out in musical numbers.
Yeah, I don't know if when it was on, I just didn't catch it, but it's been one of those shows I've been wanting to find a complete collection for and find it. And maybe I'll find it streaming somewhere because I would like to watch it. I love both of those actors, and it would be fun to dive down that for the first time.
I just want to say the concept of where the Beast was from and that world they built for that was really cool.
That's awesome.
And the remake that they did about 4 or 5 years after Smallville ended, the remake was a vehicle for Kristen Krug from Smallville.
Wasn't it just called Beauty?
No, it was called Beauty and the Beast. But it was interesting because their Beast was a former soldier that was experimented on in, like, I want to say Afghanistan, or when there was like a super soldier program kind of that went wrong.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so the other 2 shows that we have that are ending here, guys, is I remember we discussed this when they went on the air. That Ann Gillian's show, Ann Gillian, which started in '89, got canceled. That's says her firefighter after her firefighter husband's death. Ann McNeil moved to New York to California, where they honeymooned. Her daughter Lucy reluctantly adjusts, making friends while Ann starts a job at a gift shop. Also, I don't remember the show at all, but it was a short-lived game show called Rodeo Drive, a game show that involved 3 contestants competing in a game show format themed around the well-known street of the same name. I kind of have a feeling maybe Pretty Woman might have had something to do with the popularity of Rodeo Drive. I'm just saying.
I want to say this was one of those things where they had 3 products that they showed you, and you had to tell them which one was the actual valuable product.
Ah,
like
right.
expensive product and which one, because they all kind of look the same, so it was about recognizing the designers and stuff, I think.
Gotcha.
Vaguely.
Well, what we also like to do is touch on a few of the top rated programs in 1990. And we actually have a couple of big ones here, guys. 3 of them, actually. Ones we've already mentioned because it premiered this year, but man, it got popular quick. And that is America's Funniest People, premiered on ABC with about 16 million viewers. TV show that presents home videos of weird people doing all kinds of funny things, of course, hosted by Dave Coulier. Of course, another show we're going to be mentioning here shortly. Next, we also have, yes, that other show, Full House, premiered this year. Or not premiered, but was very popular this year with 15 million viewers. Widow sportscaster raises his 3 daughters and gets assistance from his rock and roll brother-in-law and madcap best friend. And then the next one that we have that was also a huge hit was Family Matters. Family Matters was huge, ranging about 15.8 million. Winslow family deals with various misadventures, many of them caused by their pesky next door neighbor, ultra nerd, Steve. Did I do that? Urkel. Kyle, what did you watch? What was your favorite of these 3?
I don't think we were quite to the TGIF version of ABC where you had Full House, Family Matters, and I think it was like Step by Step and another family comedy. But this was about the time ABC really started dominating the family sitcom realm with these 2 shows and then a few others that they added on. But yeah, if you wanted the family sitcom, it used to be NBC. It's not anymore. It was ABC. And of course, Dave Coulier blowing up with America's Funniest People, riding that Full House wave, which of course didn't, as America's Funniest People, eventually morphed into America's Funniest Home Videos.
That's an excellent point. Yeah, Dave Coulier also inspiring one of the mid-90s biggest hits by Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, he was inspiring Alanis Morissette, all right.
Lacey, what were of these 3? Which ones did you watch, or did you watch all of them?
I didn't watch any of them, actually. I knew of them. My sister was more into that, but this was Friday night, right? And so I was in high school. So Friday night, I was always either babysitting, where I couldn't watch anything unless the kids wanted to watch it, or I was out with friends because you don't stay home on a Friday night. Or at least back then. Now I'm like, ooh, Friday, I'm gonna sleep. But I will say, I think that Family Matters, the few episodes that I have seen, I really do subscribe to the conspiracy theory that Carl Weathers' character was like the combination of Ghostbusters and then Die Hard and then Family Matters, about how it's all the same character and he suffered a breakdown.
I've heard that one.
Yeah. Love it.
I didn't watch any of these. No, I was not. I was not home a lot on Friday nights during 1990. This was a time where I was starting to play in a band, and I was going to movies and concerts and stuff. And I was starting to kind of, the only thing I'd pay attention to maybe an episode of Full House from time to time, a little bit later because of Lori Loughlin. But other than that, I was kind of aging out on these personally. So yeah, I know.
Let's be honest. Most of the time we've watched these episodes has been in reruns on syndication.
Yeah, pretty
fair.
much. Right?
That's fair.
Yeah. So, well, that is the top-rated shows of August, a portion of them of August here, or 1990 here. We thought we'd celebrate those. But guys, this is, of course, Time Warp, the Fandom Flashback Show here on the Fandom Podcast Network, and we are here to discuss some movies. All right. Well, we like to mention some celebrity film debuts that were in 1990 and a few at a time. We've got Brad Garrett, who voiced in Jetsons the movie. Balthazar Getty was in Lord of the Flies. Brendan Gleeson was in The Field, and John Hannah was Harbor Beat. Remind me, is John Hannah the one that was in The Mummy?
Yes.
I knew that
Yep.
name. Yes. Okay. So
Sliding
yeah,
door.
there is the celebrity film debuts. But guys, let's get into the actual movies themselves. And we got quite a few to discuss here and some big ones here. Oh, wait, do I have entertainment news? No, I don't have any entertainment news. That's good. Let's get right into the movies here, guys. Here we go. All right, we start right off here. We've got Young Guns 2. Lacey, you are rocking the DVD there. And what's funny is in the American versions, that's pretty much all you're going to get with Young Guns 2. And it's kind of hard to find. It really is. But I did find the umbrella release of Young Guns 1 and 2 from Australia. So I did catch that. But trying to find a special version of Young Guns 2 is a little more difficult to find.
Kino Lorber, I think it was Kino Lorber. I think they announced the Young Guns 2 4K coming out soon.
Oh, good.
Because they did the original. They did a 4K for the first one.
It deserves it. It really does. And I'll get to that in a second. But that came out August 1st, made about almost $45 million in its original theatrical run here. Billy the Kid and his band of outlaws are pursued across New Mexico territory by Sheriff Pat Garrett, who the young gunslingers must face off with if they are to reach the safety of the border, directed by Jeff Murphy. Stars Emilio Estevez, Kiefer Sutherland, Lou Diamond Phillips, Christian Slater, Alan Ruck, William Peterson, and Balthazar Getty. Kyle, hit us up with a little bit of trivia for Young Guns 2.
The scene where Arkansas Dave Rudaba, played by Christian Slater, puts a knife through Chavez's arm was added due to Lou Diamond Phillips breaking his arm during filming. Oops. No one got away from the ambush by Garrett's posse at Striking Springs. A few were injured and Charlie Beaudry died. The Kid and his gang surrendered and were all taken to jail in Santa Fe, but Dave Rudaba eventually escaped and did flee to Mexico, despite claims that he fled to Montana and led a normal life. It is accepted that Rudaba killed 2 men in Mexico and was shortly thereafter beheaded. The Mexican government even took a picture of his severed head as proof that they had executed the outlaw.
Damn. Yeah, too bad Christian Slater there, you know?
Yeah. But come on, this is maybe the most famous part of Young Guns 2. Emilio Estevez, who played Billy the Kid, originally approached John Bon Jovi to ask him permission to include the song Wanted Dead or Alive on the soundtrack. But Bon Jovi didn't feel the song's lyrics were appropriate. He was inspired by the project and resolved to write a new song for the film that would be more in keeping with the period and setting. He wrote the song Blaze of Glory specifically for the movie and was so inspired that he went on to write an entire album of the same name, which charted at number 3 in the U.S. The song was immediately chosen as the movie's theme song and was a #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100. John also had a cameo in the movie as a dirty, long-haired prisoner that is shot in the chest and blown backwards as he's climbing out of the pit in the lynch mob rescue scene.
That album was huge, and I'll be honest with you, it's one of John Bon Jovi's best works.
Yeah.
I actually think that it is. Lacey, give me your thoughts on Young Guns 2.
I loved Young Guns 2. I loved the first one. I've met Lou Diamond Phillips and Kiefer Sutherland. I actually met them a couple of weeks ago. I'd met Lou Diamond Phillips several times at different conventions over the years, past few years. So much fun. Like, such a great cast. Love all of it. You can't go wrong.
Kyle.
Both Young Guns and Young Guns 2 are just amazingly fun and an amazingly great cast. Some people think Young Guns 2 is the better of the two films. I remember when Young Guns 2 came out, I was like, they're really making a sequel out of this just because of the way the original Young Guns kind of ended. But I think the cast is just a perfect time of that time frame. They were all at the top of their game. Just so much fun.
It's interesting. I remember seeing Young Guns 2 originally. I liked it, and I'm like, I don't know if it was good as the first one. And I've gone back to watching both of them, and then, of course, for this podcast, I went back and watched them, especially since I got that Blu-ray double feature. And I remember for a long time, like the last 3 or 4 years, whatever reason, when my wife Erin and I talk about these films, she actually likes Young Guns 2 more. She's been saying that for a while, and I hadn't seen Young Guns 2 in a long time. Until this podcast was coming up, and I went back and watched a double feature of both of them, and both of them were really good. But I think I got to agree. I like Young Guns 2. There's something darker about it. I love Christian Slater's addition to this. I love that we get the supposedly old, surviving, Billy the Kid, and that might lead to other stuff. Apparently, they're working on a third one. Because there's such a huge legend around it and stuff, and there's. The main cast coming back too, I thought was good. I'm a big fan of Lou Diamond Phillips in this as Chavez, and I think that, there's just certain elements to it, even with William Peterson and his magnificent mustache, were good in this as well. And I gotta say, I think I like Young Guns too. I think it's better. So yeah.
The Young Guns sequel that they're working on now is apparently the first of 3. They're going to be doing a trilogy. So apparently, yeah, because people are joking about how it's going to be called Middle-Aged Guns and then sort of later guns. Yeah, old guns. I don't know. People are joking around on the internet. I'm stoked. I will absolutely go see it. I don't care what it's called.
All right. Next, we have Denzel Washington and Spike Lee in Mo Better Blues. Made about $16 million in its original theatrical run. Blake Gilliam is a talented and self-centered jazz trumpeter whose single-minded concentration on his music leaves many, especially the women in his life, scrambling for his attention. Bleak forms his own band, the Bleak Gilliam Quartet, and a rivalry emerges with bandmate Shadow and threatens to tear the quartet. Directed, of course, by Spike Lee, writer by Spike Lee, stars Denzel Washington, Spike Lee, Wesley Snipes, Giancarlo Esposito. Let's flip things over a little bit, Lacey. Why don't you go ahead and give us a little read here? And what are you holding up there?
This is the Blu-ray. You want it?
Nice.
It's awful. Sorry.
Well, let's get into that because I have thoughts about it.
Okay.
I haven't seen that on physical media for a while, so that's why I was wondering. So go ahead.
Gotcha. Just one thing, I'm gonna make a correction. It was the quintet, not quartet. I don't know.
Yep. Right.
Yeah. What's his name was wrong. I mean, the IMDb is incorrect. Okay, trivia. Denzel Washington and Wesley Snipes were trained to mimic the playing of the instruments when they play in the film, the trumpet and the saxophone, by musicians Terrence Blanchard and Donald Harrison. I would assume those are very talented musicians. Washington later admitted that he was lucky if he could play 3 notes of a simple tune prior to filming, and ended up being able to correctly mimic most of the songs performed in the film, as did Snipes.
Go ahead, continue with the rest.
Let me keep, okay. Yeah. Denzel Washington's trumpet is played by Terrence Blanchard. Branford Marsalis plays the sax for Wesley Snipes. The music that you hear in the movie, are when the actors are playing, was performed by Branford's working band, which was used for The Tonight Show with Jay Leno in 1992, when Jay Leno took over. And Halle Berry was considered to play Clark Betancourt, but turned it down after she found out the character had sex scenes. Good choice.
All right. So, Lacey, you apparently did not like this film. Give me your thoughts. Why?
I did not. Well, let's see. First of all, let's go ahead and just say this movie was not made for me. Okay, like I get it. This movie was not made for me. All of the men in this movie are literally, and they talk about how they're literally just dogs, right? At one point, they're passing these women around, and one of them is like, hey, if you were trying to get up on what's her name, that's fine. I don't see a ring. You can have her, like, property. And then at one point, because these 2 women are both in love with the one guy, and then he deliberately uses the wrong name while they're in bed with each of them. And
that was Denzel's character, yeah.
And then there was a lot of like fight back with the whole concept of the way the club owners were portrayed. The whole concept of like the greedy Jewish club owner was a whole thing. And it was really big at the time. I remember this happening and it causing a big stir. And Spike Lee's response was to take out a full page ad in, I don't know, New York Times or somewhere, and say that that scene was nothing in comparison to the 400 years that slaves.
Gotcha.
And it was like, whoa, what is happening? What's happening? It was very contentious at the time. I had not seen it until the other day when I watched it, and I was just like, wow, this is the most misogynist movie I've ever seen in my life. It was awful. And then I tried, me, I'm always going to listen to the commentary. There's a commentary on here by a film critic named Cameron Austin Collins. He was very interesting and very well spoken and very had all these things that he was talking about. And he had obviously done his research. I got 45 minutes into it and I was just like, he's interesting, but I don't care about the subject. I would love to listen to him talk about something else. He's got a great voice for doing commentaries. He should, but this is a terrible movie. Now,
okay.
Spike,
Kyle,
I've never been a fan of Spike. I didn't realize this was Spike Lee when I got it.
Gotcha. Kyle, your thoughts? Have you seen this?
I've seen this. It's been a very long time since I've seen this, but what I remember from it, one, this is still a very angry young Spike Lee making this film, and I think you keep that in mind when you're watching this. It's not the most entertaining film in the world, but I will say this: you can never go wrong with some Branford Marsalis as far as the music of it itself goes. And this was just at a time when Spike was getting a lot of attention, but he was still a very angry young Spike Lee, and you kind of know what you're going to get with that.
So,
and there was so much music in it, though. With the solos, I had trouble staying awake during the music.
Okay, so let me give my thoughts on that. So I've never seen this film before. I was trying to find it for free. I could not anywhere, and I was like, I really want to see this film. I've been wanting to see it for a while because it's one of more because of Denzel Washington, because he is hitting his apex mountain right here. He's just off his Oscar. What was it, for Glory? I think it is, or nomination, whatever it was. And he was riding high here. And I really wanted to see this younger version of him. I wanted to see Wesley Snipes too, because he was in it as well. And so for the first time, I actually rented a film through iTunes. I've never rented a film before. I spent $4 on it. What?
What? Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
Never rented a film before. I am been all very strict about buying or trying to find it free. What I mean is by buying the physical copy,
right,
or trying to find it free streaming somewhere. And I actually rented it, and I had 48 hours, and I started getting a little nervous. I'm like, okay, well, I ended up watching it I think I paused it halfway through. But I found myself, I mean, it's so dated with the misogyny that you're referring to and stuff. But there's a lot of moments in it that I really liked when it came to character moments and dealing with relationships, especially dealing with musicians. And let me tell you, I lived in that world for a while, and some of us handled it well, some of us didn't. And I also can't stand jazz. I just can't stand it. But for some reason in this film, I was able to tolerate it. I found it fascinating. I loved the actors that were playing the band. Giancarlo as the always late piano player. I thought he was great with the white French girl that people were giving him shit for, and he was calling him, she was calling him racist and all that kind of stuff. And so there's all these.
Girl.
I'm sorry, what?
The fake white French girl.
Yeah. So and it was like there was all these little relationships that I was kind of getting attached to, which is the reason why I liked it. I got to be honest with you though, thank God Spike Lee has stopped acting, because he kept taking me out of it every time he talked, and he's not a good actor. I'm glad he ended up just staying behind the camera. I'm sorry, Spike. I'm not a fan of most of your films. There's some that I do like, but I actually did like this film for the flaws that it does have. So yeah, there you go. So. Yeah, Kyle, it looked like you wanted to say something.
I actually have a question I want to ask you before we talk about this next film, Kevin.
Okay.
Excuse me, is that an Uzi?
I think you're referring to Air America right here, guys. Yes. The next one is Air America here. And this came out in August, of course, 1990. And as August 10th, made about a little over $32 million in its original theatrical run. A young pilot finds himself recruited unwittingly into a covert and corrupt CIA airlift operation in Laos during the Vietnam conflict. Directed by Roger Spottiswoode, stars Mel Gibson, Robert Downey Jr., and Nancy Travis. Kyle, you want to hit us up with some trivia for this?
Yeah, the sequel, Robert Downey Jr. is seen hanging from a rope flying across the skies above Thailand, included a Buddhist temple was done for real, with Downey performing the stunt himself after director Roger Spottiswoode had rejected doing it using such an alternative technique as blue screen or back projection. Robert Downey Jr. despised his experience making this film in Bangkok, Thailand, and has vowed never to return to the country ever again for as long as he lives. Downey Jr. did the film for two reasons: for the big paycheck and because he wanted to work with Mel Gibson, who he had seen in Lethal Weapon 2 the previous year. Now, in an interesting note, in the special edition DVD making of documentary, there is a discussion as to how much of Air America's plot is true and how much is false. Some of the real-life pilots interviewed claimed the Air America did smuggle guns and drugs for the CIA, while others deny it, saying that the service only shipped food, medicine, and supplies. However, a historian in the documentary asserts that only certain pilots were involved with illegal activities. I'm tending to believe the pilots who said yes, they did run the guns and drugs for the CIA. I'm just saying.
So, Lacey, you have the cardboard clip shut one.
Oh yeah, this is the old school. Yeah.
I have the regular DVD clamshell version here. So, Kyle, give me your thoughts on Air America.
I'm a fan of this movie. I love the chemistry between Robert Downey Jr. and Mel Gibson. I think this movie is a lot of fun. It's a great cast all the way around. You throw Nancy Travis in it, that's always an extra bonus for me. I love the scene. I love the scene where they go back to where the original crash happened, and Downey Jr. crashes his smaller plane inside the bigger plane, and then when Mel Gibson's character finds out, it's like, oh my god, the kid did it again. But, I mean, what I loved about this too is was the watching the political side of this too, because I thought that was actually very interesting in ways they handled it. And when they talk about like the characters after the events of Air America and how the one guy kept just repeating the same thing over and over again. But it comes down to, again, I think Mel Gibson and Robert Downey Jr. played incredibly well off of each other in this film.
Lacey, what are your thoughts on Air America?
My thoughts on Air America is right now I just looked up the the special edition because I did not know there was a special edition. Shwink, just put that in my little cart. It's so much fun. It's definitely, I mean, you can look at the hair on the cover of this movie. Like the two guys, you got, the blue eyes and the best smile in America at this point, right? And one of them is not even American. I think it's great. I think it's fun, and it's kind of ridiculous, which makes it even more fun.
Yeah,
I dig it.
So I saw this in the theater originally. I didn't care for it. I never returned to it. I've heard people talk about it and how much they liked it and stuff, and so I was actually very curious to return to it. And I found it on DVD, I think, earlier this year. I'm like, oh, great, Air America, we're going to be talking about this. And I waited, of course, to recently watch it. I don't know why I don't like this movie. I still don't care for it. I don't know what it is. It has its moments, like the funny scene you were talking about, the scene where, they use the helicopter to pick up Robert Downey Jr. Then it gets serious and sad, with the villagers and I think the problem I have is it Tim Thomerson? Is that who that is in there? Who's the guy with the white hair?
It was Tim Thomerson. Kevin.
Okay, I felt like I felt like he was the most likable guy. I don't know. There's just something that doesn't sit well with this film for me, and I can't quite nail it down. And I don't want to watch it again. I don't know. Am I weird? I don't know.
Anyway, I promise not to make you watch this movie ever again.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just it's weird. All right, let's get to the next one here, guys. Flatliners. This is a big one here. Flatliners made over $61 million. 5 medical students experiment with near-death experiences until the dark consequences of past tragedies begin to jeopardize their lives. Directed by Joel Schumacher. Writer was Peter Filardi. Stars Kiefer Sutherland, Kevin Bacon, Julia Roberts, Oliver Platt, and William Baldwin. Lacey, why don't you give us the trivia this time?
Gotcha.
Look at that. You're hold on. I got to hold up mine too. I got the Blu-ray as well.
Nice. Oh, yours is different.
Yeah. You got the different cover there, right? Yeah. I like your cover better than this cover. Let me just say that.
This is a very sparse one though. Are there any special features on that one?
High definition widescreen presentation.
Gotcha. I added my original DVD into it, so I have the special features on the DVD.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
All right. Give us some trivia on Flatliners.
Yes. All right. Julia Roberts, Dr. Rachel Manis, and Kiefer Sutherland, Nelson Wright, started dating during the filming. They ended up engaged, but Roberts ultimately broke it off and later married Lyle Lovett. During pre-production, the actors worked with medical technical advisor Ruth F. Ekholm, who tutored them on proper medical procedures for the scenes in which the students had to flatline on the EKG and EEG machines, signaling cardiac and brain death, respectively. They also took advantage of Peter Filardi's research on published accounts from people who had near-death experiences. Creepy. Almost all accident victims reported a tunnel leading to a beautiful white light and friendly voices. People who had attempted suicide had troubled, emotionally painful near-death experiences. And Kiefer Sutherland describes this film as The Breakfast Club Dies and St. Elmo's Funeral, jokingly in a Fangoria interview.
I've got thoughts, but Lacey, since you did the trivia right now, why don't you give me your thoughts on Flatliners?
I dug it. It was probably a little bit scarier than my usual fare, but I quite reasonably have been obsessed with Oliver Platt forever because he's so funny and he's just got the best timing of any actor. I adore this man. And of course, everyone else in it. I mean, like he said, it's St. Elmo's Funeral, and it's basically all of the Brat Pack, or at least a good chunk of them. And I enjoyed it. I don't know, as far as, this is one that I would have to watch during the day and then like have the Disney cartoon cleanser afterwards. But yeah, I think that the kid who played the young Nelson was super creepy, and that's my issue, because I don't like any horror that has like a child in it. I don't care if it's a child victim or a child creepy thing.
Right.
I don't do children in horror movies. That's just
Kyle, your thoughts on Flatliners?
Flatliners is one of those movies. It's got this really weird place in Hollywood history for a few different reasons. Obviously, you look at the cast, they're all in this point where they've either hit it big or about to hit it really big and go to another level. You have the famous history of the relationship. Julia Roberts and Kiefer Sutherland, and her leaving him behind at the altar only to marry Lyle Lovett. You don't dump Jack Bauer for Lyle Lovett. I'm just saying.
but before that, she dumped Jason Patric for him.
Yeah, that's Julia's crazy history. But the movie itself is an interesting film, and I know it's got a very strong cult following. And didn't they do a remake of it not too long ago?
Yeah.
Yes, with Elliot Page.
Yeah,
not Elliot Page, but yeah.
Yeah.
Ellen Page at the time, right?
Yeah,
yes,
Ellen Page.
But I don't use the dead name even if it's post.
Gotcha.
Or pre. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. This movie's never going to go away because it's got such a bizarre place in Hollywood history.
What was the last thing you said, Kyle? I had trouble hearing you.
I said this movie's never going to go away because it's got such a bizarre place in Hollywood history.
Okay, so you could argue that going into this movie, Julia Roberts was the biggest star going into this, because she has a Pretty Woman, which just blows up. And you have, of course, Kevin Bacon, of course, coming off of Tremors, and Kiefer Sutherland, while being Kiefer Sutherland and being there. And of course, doing Lost Boys a couple of years earlier. I remember going this because you like everyone in this, and Oliver Platt for me is the highlight. I mean, he pretty much raises any movie that he's in. I remember walking out of this movie going, I'm sorry, that movie's dumb. I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing, why they want to try to almost kill themselves, this white light stuff, and then continue to do it in secret, and then deal with their demons if they have them. And I've never watched it until recently for this thing. And the movie's still dumb, in my opinion. I'm never watching this one again. I don't get it. I had trouble getting through this film. I felt like Joel Schumacher's like, let's get all of the prettiest people that we can and let's get them into this movie and let's do some type of like near death thing. I don't know. It's just, I feel like it was Joel Schumacher just trying to mess with this. Let's kind of throw a horror element into it, and let's get the prettiest people that are hot right now. We can have a hit here. But it just it just hasn't endeared. I know it's got a following still and fans and people still enjoy it and like it, but I feel like it just hasn't quite hit a certain status that some of these other films have that weren't like the gigantic big blockbusters. Because this one wasn't a huge blockbuster.
No, it wasn't a huge blockbuster, and like it's not an endearing film, but it has this weird cult following to it. And again, with the cast in it and the Hollywood history behind it, it just won't go away.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's not the best film, but it's like, sorry guys, this movie's gonna be part of the lexicon forever.
Yep.
But the other thing is, it was released in August. It is a horror movie. They kind of put it out in like the back to school time frame, which didn't make any sense. So it's not
Yeah.
like, you know, if it had come out at Halloween, literally give it 2 months, and this would have been a huge thing that people would have like flocked to the theater to see it. I don't know how well it did, you know, in general, but
it really didn't do well.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think it did. I think it would have. It was a victim of poor timing, I think.
I think so. Yeah, and
Yeah.
also a stupid premise. It's just,
Yeah,
I mean,
you're not wrong, but
seriously.
a lot of people.
No, wait, hold on.
want to do
Seriously,
the
seriously.
afterlife
Why
thing.
would you want to put these wonderful, good-looking, good actors in a plot like this? I mean, it would have been better if there was like a murder mystery. If you want to go horror, I get it. Go full horror. But to try to like, no, I'm gonna go 5 minutes. No, I'm gonna go 5:25 and be dead, and deal with you know, lost love, or you know, horrible things that happen to me. I don't see the appeal. I don't know how the plot got sold. I get it. This is based off people having these real things, these near-death scenes.
Yeah.
But I just did not want to see it with these people, and I just thought it was dumb.
But sure, the problem is that if you have a bunch of people who are dealing with trauma and dealing with, you know, bad things, the worst thing you can do is put on okay, in Hollywood's point of view, right? This is not my statement, but putting unattractive people in it they wouldn't have sold a single ticket.
I don't want to spend too much time on this. It was dumb. Kyle, last word.
I just want to say the one bad thing that really did come out of this movie is people try this in real life now.
Yeah.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah. It was
That's stupid.
Well, let's get into the next film here, guys. We have Chinatown. Excuse me, the sequel to Chinatown, Two Jakes. Chinatown came out in 1974. Two Jakes came out in 1990. Also starring Jack Nicholson, but also directed by Jack Nicholson. The sequel to Chinatown finds J.J. Jake Gets investigating adultery and murder and money that comes from oil. Co-starring Harvey Keitel, Meg Tilly, and Madeline Stowe. Give us some trivia there, Lacey. You're on mute.
Right, I know. I got all the way to the other page, and I was like, "Oh, whoops! I'm not on mute." Okay. The final film, as of May 2021, directed by Jack Nicholson. Paramount wanted Harvey Keitel fired and replaced by a more bankable actor. Jack Nicholson refused and told Keitel, "Nobody's firing you on this picture." Robert Evans, the producer, underwent major plastic surgery before the film, reportedly bringing pictures of cats with him to get the look that he wanted. Jack Nicholson and Robert Towne were horrified when they saw the results because Evans had become unrecognizable. And the two photos that are shown are, I mean...
Yeah. I got pictures of Robert Evans of before and after.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, he's not recognizable, but he's not like disfigured. I mean, it's not, I don't find it attractive, but it's not like he looks awful or anying.
Yeah, well, I think they're referring to right after it happened, where this kind of settled in a little bit there. So, yeah. Okay, I'm just going to start with this real quick. I had never seen Chinatown or The Two Jakes, and I actually found a DVD 2-pack here that has both of them on there. And it was one of the, Chinatown's one of those films, because it's Jack Nicholson, I was interested in getting it. And of course, Two Jakes, he directs, and he's hot off, of course, 1989 Batman as the Joker. So I did a little double feature. Boy, did I have trouble getting through these movies, guys. They are long, they are boring. There's too much of him driving his car around basins and out in the desert and stuff. And I got tired of him slapping women around. The first movie takes place in 39, and I think the second film takes place in 45. I didn't care for these films at all. I couldn't finish them. They're boring. And another set of films I will never watch again. Kyle?
Great cure for insomnia.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack's a phenomenal actor, but yeah, these are just they're not entertaining. There's nothing to really draw you that feels like it draws you in. And I remember when The Two Jakes came out, and I think I finally gave in and tried to watch it on home video because I was like, okay, it's Jack. And yeah, I don't think I've actually ever finished that movie completely because I can never get through it.
The only two good things about these films is the cars and the wardrobe, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Lacey, have you seen these?
No, they're both drama, okay, and we all know that that's not my thing. But the one thing I do know is the whole scene where he's like, my mother, my sister, my mother, my sister, and I don't have any interest in seeing a movie about incest. Sorry.
Do you want to trade my DVDs for your Blu-ray of Mo Better Blues?
No, thank you. I'm good. I mean, no, thank you.
All right, next speaking of horror, not the picture, but next we have the Exorcist III, guys. Exorcist III, also known, I think it's The Heretic, or is that 2? I can't remember. But anyway, this is a horror movie. Came out to $25 million in original theatrical run. The third movie, of course, of the original Exorcist trilogy. A police lieutenant uncovers more than he bargained for as the investigation of a series of murders, which have all the hallmarks of a deceased Gemini serial killer, leads him to question the patience of a psychiatric ward. Directed by William Peter Blatty, of course, stars George C. Scott, Ed Flanders, and Brad Dourif. Kyle, why don't you give us some trivia on The Exorcist III?
The director's cut was believed to be lost for many years. All hope seemed lost in 2007 when writer-director William Peter Blatty's wife issued a statement saying that the deleted footage was lost by Morgan Creek and that her husband's cut would likely never be seen. However, in 2016, the footage via the original VHS dailies of the film was recovered and spliced into the theatrical version to get this lost cut restored shortly before his death. William Peter Blatty died in 2017. The film became a focal point of the trial of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. Detectives testified that Dahmer claimed to identify with the Gemini killer and would play the film for some of his victims before killing them. Dahmer's final attempted victim, Tracy Edwards, testified that Dahmer would rock back and forth while chanting at various times and that he specifically enjoyed a sequence with a possessed Karas. Dahmer went so far as to purchase yellow contact lenses to more resemble Miller, as well as to emulate another film character he admired, Emperor Palpatine from Return of the Jedi.
So I'll start this real quick, guys. I saw this years ago, and their scene that I have shown up here on the YouTube video is that end scene in the hospital with the poor orderly girl and this creepy person in a robe getting ready to kill her with looks like, I don't know, a knife or hedge clippers or something like that. And that scene freaked me the F out when I saw it. And I'm like, I'm never going to watch this film again. But what did I do? Of course, I found the DVD. But what's funny, Lacey, is it's the cardboard version that someone cut up and put into a regular like clamshell case. Like, well, you know what? Maybe it's time to revisit this. I couldn't get to the ending of this damn thing. I just couldn't watch it. I didn't want to watch that scene again. So yeah. Lacey, I know you didn't see this because you don't like horror films, I'm sure. Yes.
But I have been to the staircase.
Oh, the famous staircase.
Yeah, I have walked up and down the staircase. I didn't know that I was walking up and down the staircase until after my friend said, "Hey, we just walked down the Exorcist staircase." And I was
is that in Maryland? Is that where that
Washington,
is?
D.C.
Washington, D.C. Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, she was a super fan of horror movies and stuff. And so when we went through DC,
I would watch that because I would go there because I actually like the first film. My wife adores the first film too. But I would totally do that. That sounds cool. Did you get pictures?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't have them. She had them, and she is now since passed. But there are pictures somewhere.
Gotcha. Kyle, have you seen Exorcist III?
I have not seen Exorcist III. I kind of have a rule. I watched Exorcist 1, and me and Linda agreed I would not watch any more Exorcist films. The other thing is, too, when I found out about the Dahmer stuff, that it's just too creepy to try and watch this.
Yeah, I'm not going to be saving that movie either. So yeah. All right, let's lighten things up here, guys. The next film that we have here is My Blue Heaven. And Lacey, looks like you are rocking the Blu-ray there. I've got just the DVD, but I've seen the Blu-ray. Oh, you have the combo. Look at that. Nice.
Yep.
My Blue Heaven made about $23.5 million in its original theatrical run. Comedy, of course. An all-too uptight FBI agent must protect a larger-than-life mobster with a heart of gold, currently under witness protection in the suburbs. Directed by Herbert Ross, writer Nora Ephron, of course, stars Steve Martin, Rick Moranis, and Joan Cusack. Lacey, why don't you go ahead and give us some trivia on My Blue Heaven?
Of course. Okay. Originally, Steve Martin was cast to play Barney Coopersmith, with Arnold Schwarzenegger playing the role of Vinnie Antonelli. However, Schwarzenegger was soon thereafter offered the role of Detective John Kimball in Kindergarten Cop and left the production. Failing to find another suitable Vinnie for Martin Coopersmith, Martin offered to take on the role of Vinnie himself, and producers agreed, and then cast Rick Moranis as Coopersmith, who had originally been considered for the role but was unavailable until then. The story was loosely based on the life of Henry Hill after he went into witness protection. Hill was the same man whose story was the basis of Goodfellas. The film's respective writers, Nicholas Pileggi and Nora Ephron, were husband and wife. So that's kind of interesting, seeing it from two different points of view. Henry Hill was not happy that the film was made because he knew that it was loosely based on his life story.
So
don't tick off a mob guy who is
another bit of trivia I didn't put in here though was that Martin Scorsese was asked once, will you ever make a sequel to Goodfellas? And he says, no, I don't have to because I already did with My Blue Heaven. So
I think we go Goodfellas too.
Yeah. Cool. So Lacey, your thoughts on My Blue Heaven?
Okay, I love this movie so much. I love Rick Moranis. I love Steve Martin. Steve Martin's hair is an entirely separate character in the movie. Yes, I know everyone's going to say that the dancing scene in the club is the one that everyone's going to crack up on, but the scene where he is being introduced to, like, when they're being dropped off into a witness protection, and he's like, this is, please start using your names, and she's like, I'm sorry, Terry, and he's like, no, you're Terry.
Yeah.
This is great and stuff, and the
Terry and Ted, I think it was, or something. Yeah.
No, because they were both ambiguous names.
Yeah, I thought it was like Terry and Ted or Todd.
Yeah, it was Terry and like.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
Leslie or something. But the other one was when he tries to pick up Carol
Kane
in the meat section, where he's like, "You're putting off enough here, melting all this meat." He's just got that voice. It's so good. I love it.
Kyle, I want you to go on this. I just the scene that I thought was fun too, when he's picked up for stealing a car, but he elaborately talks about how it was supposed to be left for him, and Joan Cusack's just trying to paste this all together. That was funny. Kyle, your thoughts on My Blue Heaven?
Such an interesting movie in the fact that it feels like it should always be a Steve Martin role, but it doesn't feel like a Steve Martin role either. This is a little something different even for Steve Martin, and I think it works so well. And then you pair it up with Rick Moranis, and this is at a point where Moranis is fully engaged into his acting career and is at the top of his game. And you got some magic in here, and it works so well. I am so glad Schwarzenegger was able to bow out of this film, because I think you put anybody else in the role but Steve Martin, and this movie doesn't have the magic it has. Lacey?
And I'm also confused as to how, don't get me wrong, I love Schwarzenegger. I do. I've always loved him in all the things that he does. The one thing he doesn't do is accents. How is he going to play an Italian mobster? This was not going to happen. The movie had to have been changed or altered in some way to like recreate.
Yeah, it would have fit him to where he probably wasn't like an Italian mobster.
Like an Austrian mobster seems a little different.
Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. I don't remember watching this movie all the way through. I felt like I caught parts of it and on TV or something, and I just never watched it from front to back until recently when I watched this for the first time. I'm going to say that way. I got to tell you, I missed out. I should have watched it a long time ago. This movie was great.
Yeah, I saw this in the theater.
Steve Martin was fantastic in this. Two things came out with this one. I wanted to see more of his character in this. I wanted to see more of Rick. I wanted to see a sequel to this. This could have done more, and I like it too because it's not a long movie, and Joan is great in this, and just the overall cast is great. But the thing I walked away from going, it made me miss seeing more of Rick Moranis. I know his wife passed away and he wanted to raise his children, and God bless him for doing that. But it just made me realize how much time we missed Rick Moranis, seeing him in more things, and he was really, really good in this. And I thought they were a great duo. Lacey.
Number one, we can't forget that this is one of Jesse Bradford's first movies. He was
Yes,
the kid.
he's on a roll because he does Presumed Innocent. He's like
Yep.
the go-to kid for a kid,
Right?
So yeah.
The other thing is, apparently, and I don't know if this is true, I've read it on the internet, so obviously it's got to be true, but supposedly the reason that Mel Brooks is now doing the sequel to Spaceballs is because he finally has convinced Rick Moranis to come back.
It doesn't matter about his age at all. I'm talking about, of course, not Rick Moranis, but yeah, it's just like,
yeah,
I think Mel Brooks will be 105 and he would still make another sequel to it as long as he can get Rick Moranis back. So that's great.
Right.
That's awesome.
That was the only thing he said, that the only thing that the reason he would never make a sequel was because Rick had had retired. Well, now that he's,
I'm so glad he's back.
Yeah.
All right. The next
comment on that too, because not only that, John Candy's son is taking over the role of Barf.
Nice. Oh, I love that.
That's great. All right, next we have a film called Taking Care of Business, made about $20 million in its original theatrical run. I've got the DVD. Looks like you're rocking the Blu-ray there, Lacey. Nice. I might have to upgrade this. Taking Care of Business, and made about $20 million. Jim Dworsky, played by Jim Belushi, is a criminal serving the last 48 hours of a jail sentence. He wins a couple of basketball tickets by calling a radio quiz show. Baseball tickets. Excuse me. That's a difference for this film because he's a big Cubs fan. By calling a radio quiz show with the help of other inmates, he escapes to attend the game. When a chance, he finds a filofax of executive Spencer Barnes, played by Charles Grodin, who loses it while traveling on a business weekend. Jimmy finds cash, credit cards, and a key to a big mansion. He jumps on the opportunity and starts to pose as Barnes, while the real Barnes is trying to find his filofax. He gets in all sorts of trouble. What will happen when the two finally meet? Directed by Arthur Hiller, stars Jim Belushi, Charles Grodin, Ann DeSalvo, Lorne Loughlin, Hector Elizondo, Gates McFadden, and John Delancey. You got a little Star Trek reunion going on there. Kyle, give us some trivia on Taking Care of Business.
First film written by J.J. Abrams. Jim Belushi is a real-life diehard Chicago Cubs fan who has actually sung "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" on numerous occasions at Wrigley Field in honor of late Cubs announcer Harry Carey. Production title was Filofax. However, the word is a registered trademark of the Leeds Filofax Group, and producers could not get permission to use it as the movie's release title. This was not a problem in Europe and other countries where the film was released as Filofax. In this movie, James Belushi plays a baseball fan. In Mr. Destiny 1990, to be released 2 months later, he played a youth baseball player at school. Both films have a character named Jewel. Both movies also star Jim Belushi playing a working-class character who is thrust to an affluent lifestyle.
So, Kyle, I don't know if you remember, but I told you I watched this movie for the first time. It was last year or the year before because I found a copy of it. I didn't know this movie ever existed, and I can't remember how I found it. And I found it on DVD, and I watched it, and I thoroughly enjoyed this film. It's like a lost gem, and it's also got Lorne Loughlin in it, who's gorgeous in this. And I remember her playing Christopher Lambert's wife in what's the future
Fortress?
prison? Fortress, yes, yes, Fortress film. Adam the Lethal Mole and I adore that film, and I love Jim Belushi in it. This is great. It's fun, and I like the fact that Charles Grodin, of course, doesn't like him at first when he finds out what happens, but then kind of starts to reevaluate his life and kind of learns a lesson from this. And it's like you can't not like Jim Belushi's character in this. He's absolutely adorable in this. Lacey, your thoughts on Taking Care of Business?
This is Trading Places without the two vindictive old white guys.
Yeah, yes.
Right? Like this is the because you figure this guy, I mean, he did break out of prison, all that kind of stuff, but he's genuinely being himself in these situations where he needs to be a stuffy, like a stuffed shirt, businessman, right? And so the concept that you can't get to the, you can't climb the corporate ladder unless you're a certain type of person. But if you're at the top already, you can be whoever you want to be, and everyone's going to think that you're, you made it somehow. It's kind of like, it's not who you are, it's who you know, kind of a thing. But I love the fact that he was just genuinely nice and fun. And I also loved the fact that when he was presented with like going on a date with this woman, the daughter, and then they go on a dinner date and he gets her back to the house, And she literally kind of like, takes her shirt a little bit, and and she actually has to say to him, like, you're the first guy that I've gone on a date with that didn't try and jump me. I love the fact that he was 3 years in prison and was still respectful.
Yeah.
And she actually like kind of hit on him. Like, that was awesome. And for the 1990, that is insane. That is huge. And the fact that the other side of it, Charles Grodin's character, he's got this kind of like sad sack situation going on where like everything he does, he just can't win for losing. And he doesn't realize that he's treating people poorly until finally someone who genuinely cares about him says, absolutely not. I'm done.
Right.
And yeah.
That's good stuff there. Kyle, your thoughts on Taking Care of Business?
I love this movie. Jim Belushi, 1990, he was on a roll because obviously this, Mr. Destiny, which is another film I'm a huge fan of, but this one is just fun. It's got a great cast, a very interesting performance from Gates McFadden in this film. I'm just gonna put that out there. But it's a great cast. They play it. There is a scene where they're at dinner and a comment is made, and let's just say Gates McFadden decides to present herself more in a way to reflect the comment, and it's how she does it and how she executes it. The moment is really well done. I really like it.
I just can't believe this movie flew under my radar. I never saw it playing anywhere on TV or anything, and so I'm glad to have finally discovered this little Jim Belushi gem. Feels like he was having a good 90s. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Charles Grodin is great in this too. This is one of my favorite Charles.
Hector
Grodin.
Alexander too. Yeah. So yeah.
I remember the advertisements for this though, because in the movie when they're at the ball game, Mark Grace was the player that hits the home run and he catches the ball. Well, when they brought Mark Grace in, who was never really known for his power, they couldn't get him to hit a home run. It took like 49 pitches before he was finally able to hit a home run.
That's funny. All right, Lacey.
And don't forget Mako. This is one of Mako's like early films. Like he played the Japanese businessman.
Yeah. He was on a roll too in the 90s. Yeah. Highlander 3 too. So there you go. All right, the next film we have is Wild at Heart. This movie made almost $14.5 million in its original theatrical run. It's a black comedy. Young lovers Sailor and Lula run from the variety of weirdos that Lula's mom has hired to kill Sailor. Directed by David Lynch. Writers were Barry Guilford and David Lynch. Stars Nicolas Cage, Laura Dern, and Willem Dafoe. Who wants? Lacey, I think you're up next. You want to read some trivia on this one?
Sure. All right. Willem Dafoe is actually urinating in the toilet when he goes to visit Laura Dern and asks to piss in your head. Apparently, Dafoe had drunk a great deal of bottled water and really needed to go. Only later did he find out that the toilet was not a working toilet and some poor crew member had to clean it. The snakeskin jacket Sailor wears in the film was actually Nicolas Cage's own. Cage asked director David Lynch if he could wear the jacket in the film as a tribute to Marlon Brando's role in The Fugitive Kind, 1960. And after completing the film was completed, Nicolas Cage gave the jacket to Laura Dern. Laura Dern broke her no nudity clause for the film. In a 1990 interview, she was quoted as saying, "I'd never done nudity in a movie. I've never sort of condoned it for myself, but David wanted it and I was completely comfortable with it because that love story was so protected."
I'm just going to say it off by saying I'm not a David Lynch fan. I kind of like Twin Peaks. I watched it when it first came out. I haven't really returned to it. Of the David Lynch films I have seen, this is the only one I like. And at times it's still a tough watch, but there's certain things I really like about this. I love the music. I love Nicolas Cage in this. That's why I was wearing the snakeskin jacket. That was my snakeskin jacket I was using for my Tallahassee Zombieland cosplay, by the way. And I thought Willem Dafoe is absolutely amazing as the crazy killer he was. I thought the chemistry between Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern was fantastic. But I don't know what. This is the only David Lynch film. I'm not a fan of his, just to be honest with you. I know he recently passed away, and there's a lot of fans of David Lynch. I get that. But he's just usually not my style. This is the only film I own of his. Lacey, have you seen Wild at Heart?
Sorry, I thought I was making sure I wasn't on mute. No, it's David Lynch. I don't watch David Lynch. I tried a couple times. I gave up.
I don't blame you.
I saw Mulholland Drive or Mulholland Fall. I don't know. Whatever. It was.
I think it's
awful.
Mulholland Drive because I've been wanting to see that just out of curiosity, but I haven't found it.
It's like it's so misdirected, not directed, but it's like it's so confusing on purpose. Like at one point you've got like a dead woman masturbating and thinking about a cowboy and a little person, and there's a weird what?
Okay, maybe I'll pass. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not a fan of David Lynch.
Man.
Gotcha.
Like, it's
Okay.
a lot, and I don't understand any of it.
Kyle?
You lose me at David Lynch. I have tried with him, and I just can't. He goes off in too many strange directions that make no sense, and it's just I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, it's
No, he has a cult following, and I appreciate other people who enjoy his films. I have many friends who love him, and I'm like, that's awesome for you.
Yeah, I don't think we're a part of the David Finch fan club here, so that's all right. You know, we'll be the weirdos. I'm fine with that. Next, we have a film I'm sure some of us like here. This is Pump Up the Volume, made almost $12 million in original theatrical run. Mark is an intelligent but shy teenager who has just moved to Arizona from the coast. His parents give him a shortwave radio so he can talk to his pals. But instead, he sets up a shop as a pirate DJ, Hard Harry, who becomes a hero to his peers while inspiring the wrath of the local high school principal. When one of Harry's listeners commits suicide, inspired chaos breaks out at the school, and the authorities are called to put a stop to Harry's broadcast. Directed by Alan Moyle, also written by him, stars Christian Slater and Samantha Mathis. Kyle, give us some trivia on Pump Up the Volume. And Lacey, you're holding up your DVD. It looks like you are holding up the the same one I am. But I just got to share this real quick. Look what I found. I found the actual novel version of the film.
I had that a million years ago. That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that cool? I was like, this is a great find. We're
Very
going to be
cool.
talking about this. So I gotta do that. Kyle, give us some trivia on Pump Up the Volume.
The on-screen chemistry between Christian Slater and Samantha Mathis was genuine. They were in the midst of a year-long relationship while filming this movie. It is the first of 3 collaborations between the two, as the pair also went on later to star in Broken Arrow in 1996 and Ferngully, The Last Rainforest in 1992. Christian Slater became physically ill several times during the film due to all the cigarette smoking he had to do.
I did want to mention about this film that it's got one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. I'm not going to mention everything on the soundtrack, but when it comes to like best movie soundtracks, not scores, this one is in my top 5. And Everybody Knows by Leonard Cohen, which is in the film. Great song, of course. On the album, though, Concrete Blonde is the one that records it. But it's got a lot of really, really, really good songs on there. And I just wanted to mention that. Wave of Mutilation by the Pixies is one of my favorites, too. Kyle, what is your thoughts on Pump Up the Volume?
You don't have podcasting or pirate radio or anything without this movie.
Did this movie invent podcasting, Kyle?
A lot of people claim it did.
Yeah.
A lot of people claim it did. I mean, I remember when this movie came out, and I was a sophomore in high school when this movie came out, and it resonated. This movie seriously resonated with the generation at the time. Christian Slater was beloved at this point, but there's just something about this movie that it hits on every note perfectly. And one of the things is even with like the character who's supposed to be kind of portrayed as the loser troublemaker, and yet he gets ransacked by officials and police, and he's holding a sign saying, "I have a right to an education."
Yeah.
And this movie was incredibly powerful at the time. And I remember shortly thereafter, I came down here to Florida for a visit, and there was a pirate radio station that was causing havoc for a while, and they never really got caught. They shut down, but they never got caught. But this movie changed the landscape of a lot of things and a lot of how people put out their ideas out there.
I still have some blackjack chewing gum. Lacey, your thoughts on Pump Up the Volume? You're muted.
Nice. Yes, I love this movie. It was, kind of that trifecta for Christian Slater, Pump Up the Volume, Heathers, and oh my gosh, the skateboard movie that I know.
Gleaming the Cube.
Yes, Gleaming the Cube. Like those were kind of the 3 where he played the not punk kid, but just like kind of like the guy on the outskirts who's trying to make a difference, trying to do the right thing. And I love this movie. I loved that the two of them had such great chemistry. It made sense that they were a couple in real life. I thought it was really cool. Yeah.
You know, I remember watching. I watched this more than once in the theater, and for some reason, it just didn't quite hit. It hit with young kids, but it didn't become a huge hit for whatever reason. Financially, I guess, And I don't know. This is one I always had a copy of VHS, and eventually the DVD. And I know there's some Blu-rays from overseas, but I don't know how legit they are.
I have one. It's on the way. It was $15 on Amazon.
Okay, let me know how it is, because I do want to upgrade this to Blu-ray eventually. So,
cool.
Absolutely adore this film. But like I said, it has one of the best soundtracks. And Samantha Mathis, love you so much. And I remember I also really, really enjoyed her in Super Mario Brothers as well as Broken Arrow. One of my guilty pleasure movies, Super Mario Brothers. Loves that movie. So, all right, next we have Laser Mission. I don't have any box office stuff on this, but it's kind of important because of who stars in this. Action superstar Brandon Lee portrays rebellious government agent Michael Gold, who is sent on a desperate mission to a Soviet-controlled African nation in order to uncover a top-secret laser weapons operation and destroy it. Directed by B.J. Davis, stars Brandon Lee, Debbie A. Monahan, and Ernest Borgnine. Lacey, what you got there? I want to see what your version is. Okay. So you have Laser Mission, but with the other movie cover.
Rapid Fire, fire cover.
That's the Rapid Fire cover.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why you have that version. And I have this version, which is also a crappy quality. Lacey, why don't you go ahead and give us some trivia on this of the reason why?
Oh, goodness. Okay. David Hasselhoff was originally considered for the role of Michael Gold. Probably should have gone with him. Okay. After the movie's release, it became public domain in various VHS and DVD copies in a lot of video distribution companies. For some reason, the film became regarded as a public domain title in the US years after its release. Floods of VHS and DVD releases have been floating around the market, usually of poor quality. I'm just going to go ahead. Can I just start? We're just going
to I know you wanted to say something about this.
Okay, so I got this copy, and it is... it's Diamond Entertainment. It's got the leaflet. It's got, a solid, it looks real. It doesn't look like it's fake or anything. It's got a real back. It doesn't have the blue weird tint on it. So it's an official copy. This movie is what happens when two 15-year-old boys write a screenplay about like what they think wealthy people and spies do, because it was so bad. And when I got to like 37 minutes in and the disc started skipping, and I was like, I don't care. And I just turned it off. And I actually like put a thing in on Amazon. I was like, this is the number of movies that I have bought and watched and returned is one. If I purchase a movie and don't like it, I still keep it. This one, I'm so happy it skipped because I can throw it away. I can give it back.
This movie's not good.
So
the reason why we're watching those because of Brandon Lee. This movie came into more popularity because of the death of Brandon Lee. People are going back, and I remember watching this movie before I saw The Crow, because I saw Rapid Fire and I knew who was going to be the Crow, and it popped up like on a VHS somewhere, and I watched it and going, I still like Brandon Lee, though, because I love Rapid Fire, which is the cover that you have.
Right.
They used that cover. Watch Rapid Fire instead with Powers Booth. It's much, much better.
Does he act better? Because
God, yes. Yes. And it's a higher production value. He basically witnesses a crime, and they're trying to protect him from the Chinese mob and the Italian mob and stuff. And he takes care of stuff himself because he's also an action star.
Okay.
So I definitely check that out. But this movie is not good at all. And my copy is not good. It was so bad, this copy on DVD. Actually, I ended up going, I think, to watching it free on YouTube because it was a better quality.
Wow. Yeah. I got to like 38 minutes and just nothing.
Yeah. So anyway, Kyle, thoughts on Laser Mission?
Never ever actually seen it. I will be honest here.
Please don't.
I've heard about it, and I know that it was very early on in Brandon Lee's acting career, and a lot of people say, yeah, don't judge him for this. But yeah, no, I've avoided it, and from what you guys are saying, I'm glad I did.
Okay. All right, next film we have is Darkman. Opened August 24th, made about almost $33 million in its original theatrical run. Lacey, you are showing your copy right there. Looks like the DVD copy there, the classic one. Very cool. I'll show mine in just a moment here. So Darkman, here we go, guys. Darkman, a brilliant scientist left for dead, returns to exact revenge on the people who burned him alive. Directed by Sam Raimi. Also one of the writers, stars Liam Neeson, Francis McDormand, Colin Friels, and Larry Drake. Whose turn is it? Kyle, go ahead and give us some trivia. Yeah.
So for the role of Darkman, Sam Raimi wanted somebody who could play a monster with the soul of a man and could do all that beneath a lot of makeup. He also liked Liam Neeson's Gary Cooper charisma. Neeson was drawn to the operatic nature of the story and the inner turmoil of the character. To research the role, Neeson contacted the Phoenix Society, an organization that helps accident victims with severe disfigurements adjust to re-entering society. Bill Paxton was almost cast as Peyton Westlake. According to Paxton, he told his friend Liam Neeson about the audition. When Neeson got the role, Paxton was so angry that he did not speak to Neeson for months. And of course, if Sam Raimi's going to direct your film, it means he's going to want Bruce Campbell. And he did. He wanted him to play the lead role, but the producers were uncertain that Campbell could handle the part. Campbell makes a small cameo in the very last scene instead.
All right. So I wanted to showcase my cool physical media here. So I have I did have the Darkman DVD like you did, but I did the old combo, Lacey, with this one here, and I got the Blu-ray. But I also found this other collector's edition that has this other artist rendition of the ugly version of the Darkman, and I'm actually not a fan of this art. I'll be honest with you right now. But I did keep it because it's got a cool slipcase. And then I also have the Darkman trilogy, which includes Darkman 2, The Return of Durant, and Darkman 3, Die, Darkman, Die, which are not good sequels. But one of my prized possessions right here is the sealed version of the Laserdisc here of Darkman right here. And Darkman is one of my cult favorites out of the 90s. And I was a big fan of it so much that, guys, guess what? This guy right here dressed up as Darkman for Halloween several months later, 1990. That's me.
Tell me that's toilet paper.
No, it's gauze. It's bandages.
Oh, okay.
Why would it be toilet paper?
I'm just curious. I was just just from the picture, it's an old picture.
Yeah. So that was a Halloween party that I went to that my friend Gina and her friend put on, and I was the only Darkman. I was happy about that, and I was kind of proud of that for the time. I found a cool trench coat and everything. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Did I do okay?
I think you did pretty well.
Kyle, thoughts on Darkman?
So if I'm being honest, the first time I watched Darkman, I came out of it confused as hell. I don't know if I just didn't connect with it or what happened, but I watched it later on and I appreciated it a lot more. Sam Raimi, I love Sam Raimi, but sometimes Sam Raimi gets a little lost in his own projects, and I think Darkman is a little bit of a case of that. This is a very
I sense what you're talking about. Yeah,
this is a very fun and cult movie, but you forget Liam Neeson is the lead, even though because you're so focused on the actual look of Darkman. I think I know a lot of people talk about this being a great comic book style movie too, and it was before we really had comic book movies all the time. I think it's definitely got a cult following, but it's not one I revisit on a regular basis because, again, even watching it now, I feel like unless I'm absolutely 100% focused on what's going on, you just miss too much.
Interesting. Okay. Lacey, your thoughts on Darkman?
I thought it was going to be a superhero movie. I was wrong. I hated it. It's boring. And I have it in my collection because, once again, I don't send things back if I've already watched them. I love Liam Neeson. I love Liam Neeson. He's amazing all the time. I do not like him in this. I didn't like his character. I didn't feel bad for him. Nope. I love that you love it though.
What?
I love that you love it. I'm happy for you. Just not. I
get you. it's got certain visuals I love. I love the helicopter chase scene where he's hanging from underneath it and stuff like that. But the one thing it has that it bugs me though is it's got the villain monologue scene on girders, which I just thought was the weirdest thing ever. And why don't you just shoot Darkman right there? He just went on and on and on. But there's just certain things about this film I like it. Just catch with me. I know it's not everyone's favorites, but it was definitely inspired me enough to do a costume of that. So there you go. All right, we got a few left here. Let's go ahead and get through this now. That's me there. We got Delta Force 2 here, guys. The Colombian Connection made just under $7 million in its original theatrical run here. When DA agents are taken captive by a ruthless South American kingpin, the Delta Force is reunited to rescue them in the sequel to the 1986 film. Directed by Aaron Norris. Stars Chuck Norris, John P. Ryan, and Billy Drago. Lacey, you want to hit us up with a couple trivia there?
I would love nothing more. Okay. Oh, this is sad. Okay. 5 crew members were killed in a helicopter accident during filming. The film is dedicated to their memory. When the accident occurred that ended up claiming the lives of several crew members, Chuck Norris and his brother Aaron Norris immediately gave blood at the hospital to try and save them. Wow, that's rough. Lee Marvin was attached to reprise his role from the first film, Delta Force, 1986. However, his health had already been declining when he made that film, and he passed in 1987. Michael Dudikoff and Steve James were attached to the project when it was known as Spitfire, Delta Force 2. After they passed on it, Chuck Norris was given the script, which he disliked, and it was changed into the final product.
Lacey, what are your thoughts on Delta Force 2?
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched the first one, and it was not something that I decided that I would purchase because I couldn't find one that was a reasonable enough price for something that I know I'm probably never going to watch again.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah,
but I know you're bringing me that thing that's got both of them on it, so I will eventually see them.
Yeah, there's Chuck Norris Delta Force 1 and 2, and I actually got lucky and found Delta Force 2 by itself.
Oh, cool.
But then I realized, did I get lucky? Because honestly, it's not as good as the first one. The only good thing about this movie really is Billy Drago, and it's such a canon film. I love how the commando guys are just stuntman shooting guns from the hip all the time, and it's just, it's pretty much all Chuck Norris, doing a little training montage and everything. But I love Billy Drago. He's such a good bad guy, good character bad guy. Kyle, I know you're a fan of the original Delta Force. What are your thoughts on Delta Force 2?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the original Delta Force film because even though it was a canon film at the time, it was one of those canon films that really felt like a true Hollywood film.
Yeah.
Delta Force 2 drops off so dramatically.
Yeah, it feels like a direct-to-video release.
It's late night HBO, Showtime. Hey, we just throw this on here for something. It's not a good movie.
Lacey, quick thoughts?
Yes, one last thing. If you get a chance to Google or eBay Billy Drago trading card, he is one of the only people. He's in several different fandoms where he has a trading card, X-Files, Charmed, all these other ones. He writes a quote or something random on every single card he signs, and they're all cuckoo bananas bonkers, like all kinds of weird random. I have a half a dozen different ones.
Okay,
upstairs. They're like weird, crazy, and it's.
I'll have to Google that later. So yeah. All right, next guys, we've got Men at Work. Men at Work made a little over $16 million in the original theatrical run. Lacey, looks like you got the cool Blu-ray edition there. That's awesome.
Yep, MVD did a special rewind collection, and it came with a poster.
Oh, very cool.
It's the reversible.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to upgrade because I want to get into the reasons why here. But I hadn't seen this film in a long time. And I'm glad that I revisited. 2 garbage men uncover a conspiracy involving illegal toxic waste dumping and decides to bring the whole operation down. Directed and written by Emilio Estevez. Stars Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen, Leslie Hope, and Keith David. Kyle, give us some trivia on Men at Work.
Charlie Sheen pulled a prank on Emilio Estevez by saying that he had punched a paparazzo in a restaurant on the night before filming. Sheen took it further by having an on-set police officer who was working security arrest him for assault while he was filming his scene. Estevez was stunned until Sheen returned laughing. The Japanese Garbage Collectors Union demanded that the film be banned from video shelves as it disparaged trash collectors, portraying them in a poor light. Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen played garbage men in a film made 17 years after their father, Martin Sheen, had played a garbage man on a murder spree in Badlands, which came out in 1973. Kevin, I just got to say this. I love this movie. This movie is so much fun. Estevez and Sheen, you can tell they're like, oh, we're doing a project together and we're having fun with it. We're going to take it. But the underrated performance in this movie, Kevin, is that of Dean Cameron.
Dean Cameron? I'm surprised. I'm not surprised you said that, but I would have gone with Keith David.
Oh, he's great in it too. He's great in it too.
But yeah, Dean Cameron is the pizza guy that eventually gets kidnapped, but then kind of helps him out, which is great. But yeah, Dean Cameron's having a role here.
Yeah. But this movie is just pure fun. And I remember seeing this in the theaters and with my friends, and we were all just laughing. And it's one of those ones, if it pops up on cable, and it has a couple of times recently, I'm like, I forget how good this movie is and how much fun it is and how much I laugh at it.
Good points.
But Kevin, I promise you this, I will never do the yuck part with you.
But you will do the golf clap with me.
Yeah.
Right? There you go, Lacey. Lacey, hold up your video version again real quick.
Yes.
Show the back of it. I want to check that out. Did you get that one recently?
Yes. Probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago.
Okay, gotcha.
There was something else that I got that was the MVD collection, the Rewind collection. It's down here.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And when I got it, on Amazon, you can always hit it always gives you 2 other items. And I saw this and I was like, okay.
So your thoughts on the movie?
I dug the movie. It's really fun. There's no discernible extra features really. There's some little, notes and stuff or whatnot. The movie's hilarious. I mean, it's fun. It's kind of quintessential Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez. And I think that it was, I want to say wasn't this Emilio Estevez's first directoring? No,
I'm assuming
yeah.
It is. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's got on to do several other directing efforts. And so I think that at one point he was trying to transition completely, but I think he's still going back and forth with acting.
I remember seeing it I didn't see it when it originally came out. I think I saw it on video. I rented it and I remember enjoying it. And I just kind of forgot about it, because I never saw it playing anywhere. Not a lot of people were talking about it. Every now and then I would see a VHS copy. I think even saw a Laserdisc copy, and I finally found a DVD copy of it as well. And rewatching it this time and really paying attention to it, I just realized how much fun this movie is. And these two work together really, really well. I really enjoyed their screen. But Keith David was so funny in this movie. Wait, is it Keith David or David Keith?
Keith David.
Yeah, Keith David. Sorry. He was so funny in this.
Yeah,
and Leslie Hope was just as cute as a button in this, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I was glad to finally revisit it, and definitely a movie I'm keeping around and rewatching. But when I posted it on social media, because I've been doing that, I've been posting it on social media with what I'm watching, and that's going to be on Time Warp. This movie got a lot of tread, a lot of comments on it. A lot of people were like, I love this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really surprised by the response to particularly this film, that it has an enduring quality and a stay in people's memory, and it's a positive one. So that's good to hear. All right, guys, we got one more here, and this is actually one of my guilty pleasures. I love this movie. I'm just going to say it right up the front. That's Shrimp of the Barbie. Only made less than $500,000 in its original theatrical run. Down on his luck and working in a Mexican restaurant in Australia, an American tourist is hired by an icy heiress to pose as an obnoxious new boyfriend in an attempt to make her father accept her current boyfriend. Directed by Michael Gottlieb, stars Cheech Marin, Emma Samms, Vernon Wells, and Bruce Spence. And looks like we got the same copy there, Lacey, the yellow copy there. Yep. I don't know if there's a Blu-ray. Oh,
mine. I think mine might be Australian and yours is
yes.
US.
It's funny you have the Australian one and I have the American one, which is kind of funny. But it is filmed in Australia, so that's kind of cool that you have that. So yeah. I'm going to give the trivia on this one here. Trivia: The Shrimp of the Barbie, released in Australia as The Boyfriend from Hell, is a 1990 comedy film directed by Michael Gottlieb under the pseudonym Alan Smithy and starring Cheech Marin. The title derived from a line from the 1980 series of popular ads starring Paul Hogan promoting tourism to Australia. I'll slip in an extra shrimp on the Barbie for you. The film was a box office disaster, grossing only 1/10 of its budget. In United Kingdom, the title was changed to The Boyfriend from Hell because Mattel owned the name trademark Barbie. Now, I can't be the only one that loves this movie, Kyle. Kyle, do you like Shrimp on the Barbie?
Okay, first of all, I'm always down for anything Cheech Marin does. But I love this movie for a multitude of reasons. I think this movie is fun, it's hilarious, and good God, Emma Samms in this movie.
Isn't she cute in this movie? Oh my God.
Oh, she's one of my, if I'm remembering correctly, too, one of the scenes that the first time I ever saw this was actually on cable, and I caught it about a third of the way in. And it's a scene where they think they're in a jacuzzi, and then they open up the restaurant.
Yeah,
everybody can see their.
It's when they find out that her boyfriend's cheating on her with the sexy girl. So yeah.
So I love, but no, I mean, I love this film. I love Born in East LA with Cheech Marin. You can't go wrong with Cheech Marin as far as I'm concerned when you're talking, especially the stuff he kind of did there for a while without Cheech and Chong, because he tried some other things, and I just anytime you put this movie in, I'm good.
And I was more familiar with the filming locations when I saw it recently. Lacey, your thoughts on Shrimp on the Barbie?
Well, it was super fun. It was super. It was definitely of its time. I mean, there was something weird about like randomly picking Australia as the place to move when you're down on your luck in Los Angeles, but that's cool. It was fun. It was very definitely of its time with some of its tone, but overall, I really enjoyed it. Vernon Wells was ridiculous, and it's always fun to see him do something that's not like, rawr.
Yeah, like a warrior or something like that.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. I think I really digged. I dig Cheech and all his stuff, but the kind of low key one that I always liked was his role in Tin Cup with Kevin Costner.
That's a good one too. Of course, I loved him in that.
I need to revisit that. I don't remember it that well at all. But yeah, anyway, yeah. Mm-hmm. Cheech is great in this, and Emma Samms, cute as a button, and I just loved all of the Australian actors, including Bruce Spence in this film as well. And it was nice to kind of, having been to Australia a few times now, it was nice to kind of look at it with a different lens and the culture of Australia at that time and the filming locations and stuff. And I adore this film. I love it. And I can pop it at any time and watch this. So guys, let's go ahead and wrap this up here. I got a big question to ask you guys. And I think you guys know the question that I'm referring to. Yeah, I know. Right. Well, I mean, we're trying to figure out if the 80s want their movies back. Yeah, I know. I don't know what, I mean, some of these feel 80s, some of them feel 90s. But I'm going to ask the guy that I will. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm on my brick phone here and, trying to figure out which of these films feel 80s and feel 90s because, they came out in 90, but most of them were filmed in 80s. So let's ask the big question. Lacey, which of these films feel 90s and which one feels 80s to you? Name a couple.
Well, the thing is that you've got Young Guns and Mo Better Blues and Air America that are all period pieces. And then you've got Shrimp on the Barbie, which is Australian, which is going to be a little bit behind.
Hold on. Mo Better Blues actually takes place the time that it takes place in. There's reference to stuff in the past because they make the reference to Arsenio Hall.
I thought it was like a decade earlier though.
That's when they were younger, but they're
okay.
Yeah. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna go Men at Work is definitely 90s.
Yeah.
I feel like Flatliners is definitely 90s. Taking Care of Business and Pump Up the Volume were definitely 80s. Taking Care of Business just because of all the clothing and Pump Up the Volume had the just the 80s attitude, I think. Maybe the clothing as well, a little bit of the kind of like a few shoulder pads here and there, that kind of thing. At least on the girls. His character may have been more 90s because he was a little bit more rebellious.
Gotcha. Kyle, which films to you felt 80s or 90s?
Shrimp on the Barbie feels very 80s to me. I guess it's because of Cheech and everything in it. I think Pump Up the Volume actually feels a little more 90s to me with its topics. and where we were at in the 90s, but I can definitely see where you get the 80s feel.
The
Wild at Heart-
soundtrack feels 90s to me.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's parts of it that do feel 80s. So yeah.
Wild at Heart actually feels very 80s to me. What I remember trying to watch it, but I think it was where Nick Cage was at the time too.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Kyle. If you're done or not.
I was just gonna say, Men at Work definitely feels 90s. Darkman definitely feels 90s. Young Guns 2 feels very 90s to me.
Yeah,
just because of the music and where we were at.
Laser Mission feels like 1979. It was I don't know, like it was released like way too late, and I feel like Delta Force 2 felt really 80s.
Yeah.
Really 80s.
And the Two Jakes just felt like a nap.
Felt like a what?
A nap.
Yeah. Felt like a nap. That's a good one. All right, guys, let's wrap things up here. We got a quick little thing to talk about. As we wrap things up, guys, I want to tease what's happening next month for movies of 1990. And I'm going to call this the month of gangsters. September movies of 1990 here, guys. If you're watching the picture, you'll see a tease of theirs. But the ones that we got, when I say gangsters, we got movies like State of Grace, Goodfellas, Miller's Crossing, King of New York, Postcards from the Edge. That was gangster. I mean, Repossessed, the comedy, that was kind of gangster. Funny About Love, not so much. You know, I'm joking on some of those, just so you know. Lacey was giving me the crook eye. But yeah, we've got Postcards from the Edge, Death Warrant, Hardware, State of Grace, White Hunter, Black Heart, Repossessed, Goodfellas, Don't Tell Her It's Me, aka The Boyfriend School, Funny About Love, Narrow Margin, Miller's Crossing, King of New York, and Pacific Heights are ones that we'll be talking about. And of course, we got a slew of September television series, includes Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and Adventures of Super Mario Brothers, Dracula the series. So we got some fun stuff to talk about, including The Golden Girls, Designing Women, and Murder, She Wrote. So make sure you guys do your homework there. I'm very curious about the discussion on Don't Tell Her It's Me. Lacey, I know you got Dragon Con coming up here. How else can we find you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I don't know when this is going to be coming out, but if it's before September 2nd, I'll be at Dragon Con this weekend, for the whole week, really. I'll be down from the 27th to the 2nd downtown.
This will drop just prior to that, according to Kyle, because we're trying to get it out obviously in August here. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I will be mostly spending my time in the Westin doing military sci-fi media volunteering. So, and
awesome.
If you come find me, I have badge ribbons galore.
Oh, and you might have a Fandom Podcast Network one to give the people if they ask you, right?
I might indeed.
Yeah, look up Lacey. That's awesome. Kyle, how can we find you, sir?
You can find me all over the place on our social medias, whether it's Facebook, Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, anything Fandom Podcast Network. You can find me there. And if you want to find me a little bit more personally, you can find me on Blue Sky and X at AKyleW, and you can find me on Instagram and Threads at AKyleFandom.
Awesome. Find the Fandom Podcast Network. Of course, this is where Time Warp is. Of course, on Facebook and Blue Sky and Instagram, as well as X. And you can find me on all the socials at Spartan_Phoenix. And on Blue Sky, you can find me at Spartan Phoenix. So, guys, thank you so much. This has been Time Warp 1990 August. Make sure you check us out next month. We've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about for September. Until next time, we will see you back in time.